Okay, so we got somewhere. Alright. So Joe was on the scaffolding, arguing with Bobby Yale, threatening to call off the fight about something. So he was painting the gym on the scaffolding in a fight with Bobby Yale. He must have come down because the paint pot is knocked over or something. I don't know. If we could just determine the cause of death, we'd know roughly what may have happened, but we don't. So the footprints are Bobby Yale. We know that. We know who the footprints are. Or were they Joe's, to be fair? Okay, so... here we are. But why would Dunn call off the fight if it's his only source of income? Oh, no, that was dumb. That was so dumb. No? Okay. Yeah, no, I don't think we have any leads because there isn't a little one in the corner. Okay, well. Well, we've really spilt the beans now, haven't we? Shall we speak to Sonia one last time and just see what she thinks about Dunn calling off the fight? And maybe she heard what the argument was all about. Why would Dunn call off the fight when it's the only thing going to save his gym?
There's something I never asked you about your father's will.
I'm not saying you're one lucky lady.
All right. Thanks.
I'm not saying it. I am not. John, why are you just staring at her wherever you go? Why can't you face forward now? Alright, let's go and talk to Mary. See if she can shed some light on all this. I don't appreciate the fact that she lied to me. Oh no, honestly, I hardly knew Joey. Okay. Alright. Why would she lie? Thing is, if you're trying to cover up the affair, you wouldn't do that with a detective because, like, the detective doesn't care about the affair. If you're lying about you even knowing him, then surely you're hiding something. Oh, I don't know. Right, you listen here, madam. I got a bone to pick with you.
I know you're hiding something.
What?
Happy birthday. I just found out it was a week ago.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome. I'm sure you received wonderful presents. For example, your date of birth used as the combination for Dunn's safe.
Oh, my goodness. I can't talk here. My shift is over in 10 minutes. Can you wait a while?
Can I get a refill over here, Mary?
Coming right up.
Okay.
Mary Purnell, the angel Joe Dunn found in his golden years.
We've been seeing each other for almost 2 years. It all started with... well... weekdays I start cleaning the gym at dawn, before my shift at the diner. Joey always came in early, just a little after I got there. He used to say it was the best time for the worst task of the day.
Oh, I know exactly what he meant. Did he help you clean?
No, poor Joey. I would never have allowed that. He did more than enough, would even clean on my days off. Paperwork. He just hated it.
What?
But that was... it's just him. Instead of putting off the things he couldn't stand, he did them as soon as possible. One morning, he saw me crying. I was having a rough day and...
He tried to make you smile.
He pointed at the coffee machine. You need a cup of joe and some fresh air. That was the first of many cups on the rooftop.
Ah, that's what the wine was about.
Which is where you seduced him.
I'm a decent woman, Mr. Blacksad. You might be too young to understand this, but real love has little to do with seduction. One day, we realized those rooftop coffees were the best part of our day. So we began to spend more time together.
But you never told anyone. Why did you keep it secret?
For Sonia's sake. She and Joey drifted apart after her mother's death. He was afraid that our relationship would only make matters worse. Until one day, on the rooftop, we realized just how serious our relationship was. And we decided to turn those moments into a lifetime.
He proposed because he gave you the ring.
So he asked you to marry him.
Yes, of course. He gave me the wedding ring and we decided to tell the world. He said he needed to share that happiness with his little girl. Turns out, he wasn't that happy after all.
What about you? How did you feel about telling Sonia?
Maybe you already noticed I have a slight cold. I really should be heading home.
Too much coffee and fresh air?
Why? Why would you say that? I lost my scarf a while back, not sure where. And now, if you'll excuse me, that's my bus stop. A pleasure to speak with you, Mr. Blacksad.
But
Of course. It's not really an affair because there's no one else in the picture, so really... Mary has a cold. New clue! Yay! Alright. Okay. So, it's not an affair, they were engaged. And that's perfectly fine, but they didn't tell Sonia because she felt like her dad might be moving on too soon. So what can we now tell Sonia? But why did she lie to me though? That's the thing. Why would I care? In case I told Sonia? I mean, because I did. So she was right. Of course, I forgot about that. So we worked out that Jake is part of O'Leary's gang, which we knew anyway, but now the game knows that I know, because apparently that's how it works. He's insisting that there's nothing illegal about it, and that he's just a bodyguard, so he's not really in the wrong, which I kind of get, but he is working for a criminal gang. Now, these... Let's go into the alley. Let's see if our goat is alive. See if our little billy goat scruff is still kicking. He's awake! Hello! Oh no, he's not. He is asleep. Fuck's sake. I'm not sure whether Yale killed him or not. Although it would make sense that he killed him and then ran away. And his apartment is being guarded so no one can search it, right? So when Jake went there, because he's part of O'Leary's gang, I'm guessing he didn't get beaten up. Can I go back?
I'd prefer a yellow Cadillac, but I can't complain.
So what do we do now? What do we do now? Dunn's racial issues.
Not all folks are as open-minded as Dunn. I happen to know who painted the lockers. Arthur Tucker.
I knew it. I knew it was him, that bastard. I'm gonna whip the white out of him.
Okay, I wouldn't recommend it, but yeah.
Joe Dunn or Joey Dunn?
Huh? Nobody called him Joey. Well, maybe his wife. Although, she didn't call him anything after she died.
Mate, you cannot. You can't do that. That's mean.
Did you know Joe Dunn had a gun in his safe?
No way, man. He hated firearms. Although... when Bobby Yale was a teenager, he went through a crazy phase. Even dropped out of the gym and joined the gang. Nothing serious. Early one morning, he broke in the gym. Joe was already here and caught him red-handed. Bobby pointed the gun at Dunn and ordered him to open the safe. So, Joe opened it and asked Bobby to put the gun aside, leave the gang and start boxing again. I got here 5 minutes later and found Bobby crying like a baby in Joe's arms. Then he just stood up and put on his gloves.
So it's Yale's gun, not Dunn.
Do you remember anything else about Joe Dunn and Bobby Yale's argument?
No, not really, no. Only Joe yelling, "If you do, I'll call off the fight and kick you out of the gym."
Okay, carry on. So the gun belongs to Bobby Yale. So Dunn used to be in a gang. And then Bobby came round to do something gang related, and Dunn was like, "Hey, look, you need to stop being with this gang. I'll get you help, and I'll help you." And Bobby Yale's like, "Yeah, man, cool." And I'm guessing
What exactly was he saying?
Something like, "If you do that, I'll call off the fight and make sure you never set foot in this gym again."
why is my head all funny? Aha, phone. What?
You're gonna like what I have to tell you about the Dunn case. Dunn and the gym's cleaning lady were about to get married.
Great. Call What's News. They'll know what to do with such an incredibly interesting piece of information.
The combination on Dunn's safe was her birthday. He even gave her a ring. You know, your typical suicidal bliss.
Okay, I'm still not convinced, but I might have something for you.
Aha! Amazing! We're getting places. Now, if my head isn't fixed, so help me, so I'm not going to play the rest of this game looking.
Life is off and off key, like a bad song. The notes come together but feel flat, unable to create anything resembling music. And yet, there are ways to string them together to create harmony. Ways that are not always entirely in our hands.
Here he is, the big dog, Mr. Vodka. What can we do for you?
You look tired, John.
I am tired, John. I was born tired.
I was born tired. I'm used to it.
You're not the only one. Yep, I'm beat. I'm starving. Just got back from the annual police medical. Not only did I have to fast, but I also had to chug 2 enormous glasses of water. John, you all right?
I'm always all right.
Yep, that's the problem with us men. The thing is, I'd love to help you out with this case, but I can't. You know I work for the state of New York. If I had any information, I couldn't share it with a private eye. Even if it was lying on top of this table.
You said you were starving. Why don't you go to the counter and order something?
Yeah, sure, good idea. If you'll excuse me.
Okay, open. Autopsy report. Here we go. Time of death, 7 p.m. October 19th. Violent asphyxia. Okay, so he wouldn't have fallen and he wasn't shot. So he was strangled, which does comply with the caused by rope around neck. I reckon he was strangled with the rope and then made to look like he was hanging. Yeah, around the entire circumference. Surely if he was hanging himself, it'd be around the front, wouldn't it? The marks would be around the front because that's where the pressure would be. It wouldn't be around the back because there'd be no pressure at the back. So to have the marks around your entire neck, that rope has been wrapped around tightly by something. Why does it think I can't read? Like, okay. I may have fucked up here. Hang on. Let's see where we are first. Okay. Right. Unfortunately, I fucked up here. My computer ran out of space and stopped recording. Thankfully, I've noticed. Right? So, I quit the game and I loaded it up to see where the last checkpoint was to see if I could get the recordings, but I can't. So, essentially, we learned that he died from asphyxiation. And upon going to the gym, we told Sonia that we think the evidence points towards Bobby Yale. And Sonia was very keen to say, "Oh, I can't believe he'd do this. What if he's being framed?" And she seemed very displeased with the progress that we had made. She said, "My father is still dead, and finding his will and testament doesn't change anything." So, and we concluded that since Joe Dunn was 5'5", he couldn't have reached the noose. And we actually went back to the gym and we tested it out for ourselves. And we, as Blacksad, are taller than Joe Dunn was. And even we can barely reach the noose. So we concluded, from a what do you call it? From a memory sequence, we concluded that a fight had happened. We'd done some deductions. A fight had happened. And Bobby Yale took his chest expanders and strangled him. And then made it look as if he'd hung himself. And the reason the paint can was knocked over is because that's where Joe Dunn fell as he died. And he toppled over the paint can. So the footprints belong to Bobby Yale. And now O'Leary has pulled up. And he has said, "Hey, me and you are both looking for Bobby Yale because I need him to fight and you need him to do whatever." And I said no. I said I don't work with criminals. And then Rhino and the Buffalo Bison dickhead pointed a gun at me. So I had to do it. So I'm being blackmailed into sharing information. I don't know whether I want to or not. I'm a bit meh. So yeah, that's where we left off. We're now in the car, talking to O'Leary, debating whether or not I want to share my information with him or not.
Thank you, Blacksad. You won't regret this. So let's cut to the chase. I need Bobby Yale to fight Stone. There's just too much money at stake. So, I'm offering you my help to find Yale. Let's work together.
I don't work with criminals like you.
Oh, I didn't expect you to play the morality card so soon. Please, hear me out. Let's say I bet a beer that we find Yale in 3 days, and you bet a beer that we don't. In 3 days, one of us has to buy the other a beer. Is that so bad? We're simply two grown men using our money and free will to conduct a small private exchange. And most importantly, we're not hurting anyone. So, yeah, I run a gambling business. What's so bad about that?
It's illegal for starters.
Illegal? Let me tell you what should be illegal. The way our government is ruining America. We live in a so-called free country. A place where honest people can make a living, provided they don't hurt anybody. We're not communists. Well, at least I'm not.
I would have never thought otherwise. As for me, I'm not either.
Ha! Well then, you see, we're all among friends. In any case, that's not my point. The government betrays our nation's values by passing communist laws that forbid an honest man like me to make a living without hurting a soul. And that, Mr. Blacksad, is just wrong. I'd even say it's unconstitutional. You get my point now?
Okay, but that doesn't justify what you do for a living.
Oh boy. Did you hear anything I just said? Anyway, when the government passes these laws, there's only one legitimate weapon the people can wield. The same weapon that turned America into a great nation. Civil disobedience. So, as the proud American that I am, It's my duty to disobey.
You're bending the truth to justify organized crime.
Oh, no. It might have been organized crime, but not anymore. I wasn't always a boss, you know. No, sir. I started at the bottom, when Lucky Blitzen ran the show. That good for nothing. His was a reign of terror, extortion, violence, you know, that sort of unpleasant thing. When I took over, I decided I'd make people want to do my bidding. Not out of fear, but out of gratitude. I decided to help people so they would help me.
That beating your thugs gave me was really helpful. Thank you so much.
Those poor bastards didn't even know you were a detective. That
Yes,
you
they
were
did.
on our side.
I told them I was.
First. But when they tied me up and beat the socks off me, they knew very well who I was.
Seriously? That goes against my rules. Who was it?
Just the Buffalo, because he's an asshole.
It was just Wilson.
That bastard. Don't you worry. I will have a serious talk with him. I cannot tolerate this behavior. Please accept my apologies, Mr. Blacksad. You see, a lot of people work for me. Many families depend on my business. Not only that, St. Christopher's Hospice practically lives on my donations. The widows of my late employees are set for life. Their kids get free schooling. The cops leave me alone because they know my business doesn't hurt anyone.
So you're
on the
Robin Hood.
contrary. And, it looks like we're here.
So the big bad wolf is actually Robin Hood. I see.
Yale's apartment?
I told you, I'm on your side. Go ahead, search the place. I'll wait down here. When you're done, maybe you'll change your mind and share your findings with me. Or not. It's your call, Mr. Blacksad. I'll make sure you're suitably compensated. Wilson, come here.
Okay, alright. Perfect. So we now get a fucking A change of fucking environment, and B, the chance to search his place. We have a deduction to make. Really? Huh? What? Mary has a cold. Apparently there's one thing to decipher, and yet I'm so baffled. Huh? Well, it says here there is one thing that we can deduct from these clues, and yet there is nothing. What? Huh?
All right. Dunn punched a paint can, but why? Wasn't he calm and composed?
Oh, I see.